It was day 3 of this adventure and we were truly excited to be boarding Norwegian Star at Buenos Aires and start our journey south towards Antarctica.
This voyage, however, would start with 3 back-to-back sea days before we set foot on land again in Ushuaia, but we were ready for some rest after our travels from the UK.
Embarkation can sometimes be daunting, and social media had prepared us to expect a busy and difficult embarkation process. But how was it?
Right, well, we're safely aboard Norwegian Star now, and I have to say, embarkation has been one of the smoothest we've ever done on a cruise ship. I mean, we'd seen on social media that the big queues at the terminal and stuff like that. Got to say, we didn't experience any of that. We were one of the last to board, and maybe that's the tip, is just to take the last embarkation slot you can get. But we arrived at the terminal after taking our taxi from the Savoy, dropped us off. We were just whisked straight through everything. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Got a little tag. Got this thing we were expecting to sort of stick in a queue. It said white 5 on it, but that didn't happen. We were just whisked right the way through, picked up our cruise cards, got on board the ship. Really, really straightforward. Found our cabin, then went and did our muster station, which is really, really important. Obviously, you have to do that before you can set sail. And then we went and got ourselves a cocktail, a lovely mojito up on the sun deck. There were some DJs playing, which was cool. And then we had a burger and chips just for a bit of late lunch, which was really tasty. And we had another cocktail. We had a pina colada, which was incredibly sweet, I have to say. It was like liquid sugar. And then we come back down. My case has arrived here at the cabin, so I've unpacked, and it hasn't. So we're just waiting for that to arrive. But wow, what a really smooth embarkation. Really can't fault that. So well done, Norwegian. Thumbs up.
Nettie's case eventually arrived, and we unpacked in our cabin, which would be our home for 2 weeks.
First impressions of the ship were good. Our burger, which was a late lunch, was also good. We did what you always do on a ship that's new to you and wander around and explore. And the ship was well presented and in good condition.
It was good to walk the ship and get acquainted with what it offers, and an excellent singer was booming out hits in the main theatre as the ship sailed away, leaving the city skyline of Buenos Aires behind. And for our first evening meal, we chose the Aqua dining room.
Just come back from having our first meal and went to the main dining room. I had barbecue pork ribs, which were really tasty, and it came with a pasta salad and some coleslaw and a corn on the cob and what else did it come with? Oh, and some onion rings. Very tasty, but the best thing was the pudding. Creme brulee. I think it was a honey creme brulee. It was absolutely yum. This was a late meal though, and by the time we'd finished, we were again hankering for our bed, but a late night stroll on the deck in the shimmering moonlight was simply lush. And finally, our cabin beckoned.
Day 4, and this was the first of 3 sea days aboard Norwegian Star, and we awoke early with the natural light from the sunrise pouring into our outside cabin. Just beautiful.
Garden Cafe is the ship's buffet restaurant and was our destination for breakfast.
So the emergency microphone that I bought in Buenos Aires was proving a bit temperamental, but the fried breakfast was, shall we say, adequate, and we were looking forward to a decent fry when we got home. So let's explore some more of the ship and find somewhere to sit and enjoy the sunshine. What you found there, Nettie?
Well, I'm so excited. I found a cruise duck. I was going to bring some cruise ducks, but we read somewhere that on Norwegian that we weren't allowed to bring them. But it's nice to see that some people have just ignored the rules. And I've got one. And it basically says on here, it says 2025 NCL Star, South America, Alabama Cruise Ducks. So it looks like he's come from Alabama. So he's got a nice new home now. We then found the promenade deck, and 4 laps of this lovely wraparound deck is a mile. We ran out of time to complete our mile before we remembered that we wanted to attend the first of several enrichment lectures on Antarctica in the theatre.
The enrichment programme is an important part of this cruise, and this introductory lecture introduced the subject experts and provided an overview of the Antarctic continent, its history and its wildlife, and it was absolutely fascinating. Then a coffee in Starbucks. The included coffee on board is fine, but sometimes it's just nice to treat yourselves. A lot is made about the risk of encountering rough seas on this trip, and so far the seas have been calm, but the ship had a noticeable sway. We wondered what this would mean for the later stages of the trip, especially as we crossed the Drake. Would we get Drake Lake or Drake Shake.
It was a sunny day and quite warm. This felt more like a cruise in the Caribbean than a trip to Antarctica. Sunbathing on the pool deck was in order. Glad we packed the sunscreen.
Well, the sun's out. Lovely. Sat up on deck here, found some sunbeds. Bit of reading. Amazing.
It's actually quite warm as well, isn't it?
Quite warm, yeah. Gonna have to put some suntan lotion on here, or it's going to get burnt.
Yeah.
You've got a, what do you got there?
I got mojito.
Mojito?
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's delicious.
I've got an Angry Orchard cider. Who knew? Hey? It's really nice, really sweet. Yum, yum, yum.
The onboard DJ kept us entertained with some deep house hits, and lunch was another burger. These are really good.
The house bandy revelation fired up a set of contemporary hits to keep all our feet tapping until the heat of the sun and a touch of jet lag drove us indoors to catch up on some sleep.
Then a quick buffet meal before heading to the Stardust Theatre for the Pampas Devils Tango show, and once again opportunities to capture footage were restricted. So here are our official Cooks Explore reviews of the Pampas Devils Tango show.
Right, we've just come back from the Tango show and it was really good. It sort of showed a little bit of the history of the tango. Saying where it started in Buenos Aires, and it started in like brothels and things like that. It was really interesting. And then there was 4 dancers, and I thought they were very good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So it's my turn now, and I'm the grumpy one when it comes to these things, so I better stay in character for that. So Tango show, it's great. I mean, to the untrained eye, and I have an untrained eye, it did look like some people in some very posh outfits, kicking their legs in every direction like they're playing for Spurs. And also a lot of the dances seem to be based around the lady spurning the inappropriate advances of the male dancer. And with those heels on, she should have just stamped on their feet. They'd have gone running, scarping away, no problem at all. All joking aside, very, very talented. And it's actually good to see people who know how to do it properly do it, rather than the people that we see on the telly on a Saturday night. So still not my thing, but I'm glad I saw it.
We had timed this perfectly, but after the show, the most incredible sunset was wowing passengers on the promenade deck, and it was very special.
And it really was a beautiful sunset. And after we took a short walk around the promenade deck before grabbing a drink in Ocean's Bar, where we were serenaded by a trio of violinists who were playing modern music with a backing track, and it was really, really good. The ship was buzzing, and we saw in the night with the house band banging out 70s disco hits in the Bliss Bar, and the party was underway.
After a few hours of drinking and dancing, we filled our drinks bottles and retired to bed. Day 5 was the second of 3 sea days as we headed to Ushuaia, and we were settling into the ship's routine. Our day started with breakfast before heading up to the sun deck again to enjoy more of the sun's warmth. So we found a spot in the sun and sat with a drink and our books.
Good morning. This is the second of 3 sea days on our journey down to Ushuaia, Argentina, right at the end of the world. It's another lovely sunny day, and it's quite warm still. I'm going to know about whether it's shorts weather or not, but it's certainly t-shirt weather.
Yeah, definitely. I thought, I've actually put my leggings on today, but I'm actually quite roasting in them. So,
well, another really lazy day planned. Try and catch up on some lost sleep, do a bit of reading, get really stuck into my Shackleton book.
That's it.
And another time just to recover from that arduous long flight from the UK.
Yeah, I want to go and see one of the lectures. There's a lecture on nature and wildlife in Antarctica, so I wouldn't mind going and seeing that. That's this afternoon. Apart from that, I don't think we've got a lot planned. There's a show on tonight, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a typical day on a cruise ship at sea, at the end of the day.
And you've already eaten loads, haven't you? You got caught by someone and stuffed a chocolate eclair in your face.
Too much food and too much sugar, that's for certain.
I think we want to do some walking around the deck as well.
Got to do something to get this sugar through my system somehow.
So much sugar.
Anyway. Beijing.
However, our time sleeping and reading in the sun lasted only a couple of hours. The temperature had noticeably dropped too, so we headed indoors and enjoyed a tasty lunch.
What's the plan for this afternoon, guys?
Well, the weather has changed and it's got slightly cooler. We had a bit of a rainstorm earlier on, so we had a bit of lunch and now we're going to do the promenade walk. It's 4 laps is 1.4 miles, is it? Something like that.
Yeah.
We're just going to get some steps in, have a nice walk. We're also at this kind of last shoes. We're now on the lookout for wildlife as well. We've seen some birds already. We've seen some petrels, haven't we?
Petrels, yes.
Okay, so hopefully we'll see some more. Some albatross, hopefully.
See some whales.
And maybe some whales, apart from the two that are walking around the deck. Well, certainly the one that's walking around the deck anyway.
Two.
After eating all that food. My goodness me. No shortage of food here, is there?
No, definitely not.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll see something exciting on the wildlife. We've got a lecture at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And this was a brilliant walk, and whilst we saw no whales, petrels flew alongside the ship as we headed south, and we notched up nearly 3 miles of walking, soaking up this very, very special setting.
Then back to the theatre for our second enrichment lecture about Antarctica's wildlife and how to photograph it. Still needing to catch up on some sleep, we grabbed a cheeky nap before heading up to the garden cafe for our evening meal, and we noticed sick bags had been put out on all the public staircases. Either they were expecting rough seas, or Si was about to be selected as a stand-in chef.
A game of speed trivia in the Bliss Bar was a load of fun, followed by more wine and a Latin guitarist in the brilliant Gatsby's Bar, and this bar had a really smooth vibe.
The wine was flowing nicely, and we sunk enough wine to even get Si up onto the dance floor to dance the night away to some cheesy 80s disco in the Bliss Lounge.
And after that performance, the gods of the oceans were definitely cringing as a storm raged to the rear of the ship as it sailed into the darkness. Day 6 was the last of the 3 sea days and started with a lie-in to sleep off the previous night's wine. Once up though, we made ourselves busy.
The packing for this holiday was a real challenge as we're going from hot climates to temperate climates to freezing climates. So we're going to have to do laundry on the go during the 2 weeks we're here. So we've packed some of these laundry detergent sheets that we can wash our underwear and other bits and bobs and then hang them up in the shower to drip dry. Really easy to use. You literally tear off the sheet and dissolve it in the sink. And once the sheet is fully dissolved, you're ready to do your hand washing.
Breakfast followed by a promenade walk to clear our heads. Right, hello. We're on our 3rd sea day. We're going to do another relaxing day. It's the day before we get to Ushuaia. We've had some breakfast this morning. We're planning to do some chilling out and some wildlife watching, because it's a good time to watch for the wildlife now, we were told. We've actually just seen an albatross, but the albatross, obviously we couldn't catch it on camera because we're out doing our walking, trying to walk off the breakfast. And filming.
It's just gone past.
Yeah. So that's that. We've got a speciality meal planned tonight in the Steakhouse, so looking forward to that. That's about it, isn't it, really?
Another lazy day.
Yay! Probably catch a few more Zeds as well and read some book. But we didn't see much wildlife apart from an albatross, and the seas were still relatively calm, with a 1 metre swell apparently.
After we finished our 3-mile walk on the promenade deck, it was lunchtime, and the buffet was really busy and a bit of a melee.
We went back to our cabin and read some of our book before grabbing some extra Zeds.
Movies on the TV entertained us before we headed to the theatre for a briefing on the port of Ushuaia, and this was really helpful, and the cruise director gave helpful tips and advice on how to make the most of the time ashore in port. Then we headed for a spot of speciality dining.
Right, hello. We're in Cagney's Steakhouse, which is a speciality dining, and I've actually gone for French onion soup with a cheese crouton. So I'm just going to try it. It looks and smells delicious. Let's try it. A bit of the crouton. See this? Oh, very cheesy. Crouton's nice. Let's try a bit of the soup. That is really delicious. Out of 5, I'd say, well, I can't really tell you until I've eaten it, really. I've only had a little sip of it. But so far, I'd say 4.5. but we'll see.
Enjoy.
So the soup starter was a hit, but what's the bread like, Si?
They give us a nice sort of mini baton here, which is warm, so it's freshly baked. It's got a small amount or a small tint of garlic and herb in it as well. Some lovely fresh butter here as well. It's really soft and smooth, and it's a really tasty bit of bread. Really enjoying this. Delicious. Out of 5, definitely a 5. So what's for main course then?
Right, I've gone for truffle dusted fries, and I've gone for a filet mignon, and I've gone for with the pork juice, and I've gone for garlic mushrooms. Right, so I'm going to try the fries first. Really nice, got a really nice seasoning. The fries got a really good seasoning. I go for garlic mushrooms. Can't go wrong with garlic mushrooms. I love them anyway. Now let's have a little bit of the steak with some of the sauce. Oh wow, that was amazing. That's melt in your mouth, and the flavour of the pork juice is absolutely phenomenal. I'll give that a definite 5. So this was absolutely delicious. Do you agree, Si?
Okay, so like Annette, I've also gone for filet mignon with the truffle dusted fries. I've gone for the cream spinach. So let's try that first of all. That's nice. It is creamy. Not much other flavour to it though, but try the fries. The truffle seasoning's definitely evident. Quite nice. Quite a nice flavour. And the steak, gosh, that's tender. Oh wow. Oh, really good flavours. And I've had it in the béarnaise sauce, and the steak is melting in your mouth. It's absolutely wonderful. Spinach lets it down a bit, but the steak more than makes up for it. So I'm also going to give it a 5. So any room for pudding, Nettie?
Well, it's got to be creme brulee. And this is a raspberry creme brulee, so I will see what it's like. Got a bit of a crack. Let's try it. Really, really raspberry. Really, really sweet and creamy. That's really nice. Another one to the list. 5.
Gotta say that creme brulee really did look good, Nettie.
How on earth did you eat that monster chocolate cake though, Si?
Well, for pudding, look what I've got. Death by chocolate, 7-layer chocolate cake. Oh gosh, how am I going to eat this? Let's have a go. Ooh, okay. Oh wow, really good, really good. It's incredibly chocolatey and incredibly smooth and incredibly soft. So that's a straight 5. So Cagney's Steakhouse was a hit, and we loved the food and the ambience too.
But don't forget the wine in those massive glasses, Si.
The sun was out, but the seas were becoming rougher, and there was a strong wind blowing, so much so that the promenade decks were closed off to passengers, and you could feel the ship's stabilisers working hard to keep the ship's passage smooth.
So we found a comfy lounger in the sheltered area at the aft of the ship and used our 3 minutes of internet to catch up with the family. And as we sat, an albatross flew in the ship's wake. Beautiful. And we enjoyed another incredible sunset. But after the sun went down, the seas gradually became rougher and rougher. Time to retire to bed.
These 3 sea days had sailed past quickly, but were really enjoyable, giving us time to relax, chill and catch up on lost sleep. But we were ready for more adventures and couldn't wait to see what opportunities Ushuaia would present to us.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers!